sometime, somehow, somewhere. They all go together.
Chances are, if you're watching this, you've heard Alan Watts, or you've heard of Alan Watts. Watts has become renowned on YouTube for his prolific lectures, reeling in millions of views. The most popular videos are often either part of a lecture played over footage of common daily life, or full lectures played on top of a chill step. But what is more amazing than the sheer number of his listeners on the platform is the influence he's had on those listeners. Scroll to the comments of almost all of his videos, and you'll find comments saying, and so I wanted to spend a video to explore his popularity, and Alan Watts himself. First, labels. Alan Watts has been described as various things depending on who does the description. Those who see Watts favorably have called him a priest. Shunryu Suzuki, the founder of the San Francisco Zen Center, has deemed Watts a great bodhisattva. However, critics have dismissed Watts as nothing more than a hippie or a mystic. Watts has labeled himself as a Brahmin, disreputable Epicurean, and possibly his favorite label, a philosophical entertainer. But beyond these labels, Alan Watts may be best described as an interpreter of Eastern wisdom for the Western audience. A quick history. I don't mean to go through an entire biography of Watts. If you are interested in that, I would suggest getting his autobiography in my own way. So Watts was born in England in 1915, but he'd spent most of his adult life in the United States. Despite attending a devout Christian boarding school, Watts gained a fascination of Buddhism at a young age. Following his basic education, he focused on studying and writing about Zen Buddhism until shortly after moving to the US in 1938, where he would receive a master's in theology from an Episcopal school. During this time, he would attempt to combine Christian religion with Asian philosophy, and in 1945 he was ordained as an Episcopal priest. A year after resigning from the ministry in 1950, Watts moved to California to teach Zen Buddhism, Vedanta, and more at the American Academy of Asian Studies. However, Watts' time in the faculty didn't last very long, as within a couple of years he began a weekly radio broadcasting program where he spoke about the same topics. For the next 2 decades, Watts would continue his broadcasts, lectures, and writing. He became a notable spiritual figure in the counterculture of the 1960s, hence the criticism of Watts as a hippie or a mystic. But in 1973, Watts passed away in his sleep unexpectedly. Despite having passed away over 4 decades ago, Watts' recordings have found a new home on YouTube, giving more people access to his prolific lectures than ever before. As a philosophical entertainer, Watts' recordings were perfect for the free video sharing platform that is YouTube. There appear to be 2 components of the popularity of Watts' lectures on the platform. First being his substance, and the second being his delivery. With lectures on Zen Buddhism, Vedanta, Christianity, Taoism, and more, Watts covers a vast range of ideas, often ones that aren't typically covered in too many other settings. Which to a population full of existential anxiety, Watts provides some relief. His lectures cover some of the largest topics of philosophy, including the questions that many struggle with, like the meaning of life, fear of death, and dealing with adversity. And so these ideas that he discusses are particularly good at reaching deep anxiety. But beyond what Watts talks about is how he talks about it. His delivery of Eastern philosophy is done so well that it can be enjoyable to listen to completely on its own. Watts follows his own philosophy when his speech is a form of play. He makes noises, he sings, and he laughs, all while sharing his ideas.
And now I want to show you a form of meditation which was explained to me by a Zen master, who said it really is one of the very best kinds of meditation, even better than sitting for a long time and getting your knees aching. What you do is you just put your hands on your hips with the wrist upwards. And now, let's all laugh.
And according to his friends, this behavior of his wasn't limited to his lectures. Watts has also been described to have a smooth voice, and if you don't believe me, just listen to him. With such relevant ideas and entertaining delivery, it is no wonder that Watts has become popular on YouTube. If you're interested in any of the topics that Watts talks about, I've made a few playlists. And as always, with any of my videos, you can let me know if you disagree with anything, if you miss anything, or what you think about Alan Watts, or anything else. And so if you like the video, give it a like. If you've enjoyed watching this video enough to sit through it, consider subscribing. And thank you all for watching.